Yesterday we got some news in regards to Jimmy Kimmel. His show will be back on TV tonight. This was actually reported yesterday that his show will be back on Tuesday. This was reported yesterday, which was Monday. And I'm going to read this statement here that was made by Disney. Last Wednesday, we made the decision to suspend production on the show to avoid further inflaming a tense situation at an emotional moment for our country. It was a decision we made because we felt some of the comments were ill-timed and thus insensitive. We have spent the last days having thoughtful conversations with Jimmy, and after those conversations, we reached a decision to return the show on Tuesday. So, if you don't know what happened, last week Jimmy Kimmel, during his stand-up routine, made a joke spreading something that wasn't true. Well, saying something that wasn't true about the killer of Charlie Kirk being MAGA, when it was said by the governor of Utah that Charlie Kirk's killer was a leftist. We heard the reports about on the bullets that were used to take out Charlie Kirk. One said, "Hey, fascist catch." Who uses the word fascist in regards to MAGA politicians? Who uses the word fascist against Donald Trump and someone like Charlie Kirk? Who uses the word fascist when talking about Republicans? Oh wait, the radical left. That's the term thrown around all the time by the radical leftists. And then I'm going to read this article here. From Deadline, which I couldn't even believe what it was being said. It was reported by Deadline. Tuesday's return of Jimmy Kimmel to late night TV was the result of days and negotiations with top Disney executives that only came to resolution Monday morning. There was always a desire to do the best thing for the company, an insider told Deadline. Of the direct talks and thoughtful conversations between Disney CEO Bob Iger, Disney Entertainment Chief Dana Walden, and Kimmel and his team. There's always a desire to do the best thing for the company. Yeah, how is that working out? Getting rid of Rivers of America? Getting rid of Splash Mountain? Focusing on ideology and films? We do what's best for the company. How's that working out, Bob? So that the final sign-off of Kimmel's return to his long-running Jimmy Kimmel Live was made this morning by Iger and Walden after a last-minute flurry of paperwork, texts, and calls with Team Jimmy, I'm told. Having started the day after Jimmy Kimmel Live was preempted indefinitely over remarks the host made on air about Donald Trump and MAGA's reaction to the fatal shooting of conservative activist Charlie Kirk. The conversations among the principals continued over the weekend until an agreement was reached today, amidst protests outside Disney headquarters and more direct attacks from Trump at Kirk's memorial on Sunday. Whispers that something was up, and the Guitars Down protest by Sarah McLachlan and others last night's Lilith Fair documentary premiere at Los Angeles. Clearly, whatever compromise was reached today was in Kimmel's favor. Jimmy will say what Jimmy wants to say, a source says, regarding what restrictions, if any, were placed on past Oscar hosts as a condition of his return. Doesn't look like there's going to be any restrictions, because right here, Jimmy will say what Jimmy wants to say. Really? So is he going to poke fun at the memorial service on Sunday? By the way, this decision was made, yes, the memorial service was on Sunday. The news broke that the decision to bring Jimmy back was made yesterday, a day after the memorial service. And Jimmy will say what he wants to say with no restrictions. This, to me, was a big FU. Not just to the memorial service they had Sunday, but to Erica Kirk, Charlie Kirk's wife. This was a big FU to her. Are they only doing this? To me, this sounds like they're doing this to spite Trump. And also, actually, we'll read the rest of this here. Reps for Kimmel and for Disney, beyond the statement the company brought out earlier announcing the host's return, had nothing more to say about what was and what was not agreed. That assured the outspoken, very talented, and very funny. According to ex-Disney CEO Michael Eisner, very talented and very funny Kimmel could resume his show. Live will resume Tuesday with the full audience in its Hollywood Boulevard studio. Guests and all bells and whistles. Who those guests will be is in flux with some of the people were supposed to be on last week. In the mix, it does appear that frequent Kimmel foil Matt Damon will not be on this ABC late night of Tuesday, at least of right now. No, you know who's going to be on tonight? Gavin Newsom, the governor of California. Talk about communists, there's right there. No word yet either on what affiliate owners, which we're going to talk about, what affiliate owners Sinclair and Nexstar, who both independently yanked Kimmel off their ABC stations over his ill-timed and thus insensitive, as Disney called them today, remarks will do, and if they will show live or not this week. Not going to read the rest of this. So, yep, Disney, basically, because we all heard about the 400 celebrities who signed they were signing something. They were also telling everybody to go boycott Disney, which was funny to see because people have been boycotting Disney for over 5 years. Disney bent the knee to the Hollywood elitists and the radical leftists. They bent the knee to the people the audience who they've been catering to. So yeah. They bent the knee to the radical left. I am not surprised. And you know why? Because Bob Iger and Dana Walden politically agree with Jimmy Kimmel, and they politically agree. Yeah, they politically agree with Jimmy Kimmel. Alright, I'm not done. Hold on. We're going to talk about Sinclair in a minute. What about... And people were blaming the FC because Brendan. First of all, Brendan Carr made a comment about Jimmy Kimmel, about what he said on his last show, on Benny Johnson's show. He made a comment that he was investigating. I think he was investigating the show or something like that. I don't know. I didn't really hear it. All I know is Brendan Carr made a comment. He's the chairman of the FCC. Then Disney made the decision to pull the plug on the show, mostly because the higher-ups, meaning Nexstar and Sinclair Broadcasting, who are affiliated with ABC, which is owned by Disney, they were the ones who said, we're not broadcasting his show. And then Iger and Walden came in and suspended Kimmel. The FCC and Donald Trump had nothing to do with this. That was also debunked too. What about, before I'm not done yet, what about when Tucker Carlson got fired from Fox News? Jimmy Kimmel made a joke about that. He was celebrating. What about Gina Carano for expressing her beliefs and Disney fired her over it? Roseanne Barr, they canceled her show because of her support for Trump. She went on saying that she was a Trump supporter. You know why why Gina Carano and Roseanne Barr all got fired from ABC? Well, technically ABC fired Roseanne Barr. Disney fired Gina Carano from Star Wars The Mandalorian show on Disney Plus. They fired them because they didn't politically agree with them. That's why they're turning Pedro Pascal into the biggest star Disney has, because they politically agree with him. If Disney don't politically agree with you, if you're not a radical leftist, you're no good to them. Same thing with Hollywood. If you're not a radical leftist, you're not going to have a career there. That's why Dean Cain got blacklisted. That's why Tim Allen sort of blacklisted. He has a show on ABC now. I don't know if it got canceled or not. That's why these people got blacklisted from Hollywood. Disney wants nothing to do with them because they're not radical leftists. And now the news broke later on in the day yesterday. Sinclair Broadcasting, which is a big affiliate with ABC. This is reported from Sinclair. Sinclair, which owns... This is a statement right here. Tuesday night, Sinclair will be preempting Jimmy Kimmel Live across our ABC affiliate stations and replacing it with news programming. Discussions with ABC are ongoing as we evaluate the show's potential return. So they're once again... Sinclair does not want the show coming back on television. Sinclair is not taking any bullshit. They are putting their foot down. They're not taking no bullshit. They're putting their foot down. Because if you remember, Sinclair wanted Kimmel to apologize for what he said. Kimmel refused to. So they're not standing for this. Good on them. They're not taking no bullshit. They're putting their foot down. Disney is defying them Disney is no surprise they're defying them, putting the show back on the air. I am curious to what Jimmy Kimmel's going to say. He's not getting any... Again, this is another reason. He's not getting restricted. Remember right here? Jimmy will say what Jimmy wants to say. Is he going to poke fun at the service that they had Sunday? Is he going to poke fun at the FCC? Is he going to poke fun at the FCC? Is he going to say I beat dictatorship? I don't know. Anyways, what is your thoughts on Jimmy Kimmel's show coming back? Leave your thoughts in the comments. Leave a like on the video. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. Peace out.